Don't mind me. I'm out biking. To be honest, my wife really don't like me being out this time of night. But I have to get my exercise in on my trusty bike. So I want to talk about this whole silly, and I know it's silly because this Iran war is just horrible. Like I seen a father grief-stricken about the loss of his son and the unprovoked war that our monster in chief started, not commander. Our monster in chief. You shouldn't have to start something for somebody else because a lot of evidence is coming out that the monster in chief didn't act alone, that he was pretty much heavily controlled to enter this war, you know. And I've been noticing too in the comment section, a lot of people have been defending Iran. And I understand because Iran been saying how it's unprovoked and they just defending themselves. They said a few times they just defended themselves. There's this Iranian professor, last name Mamdani. It wasn't Mamdani, but I'm quite sure somebody in the comment section will correct me. But I've been watching this guy, this professor, man, he said Iran is not playing. They ain't playing no games.
Iran is not interested in negotiating with Trump or the US regime. Iran is going to punish the United States, and we are in the process of doing it. This regime in Washington has tried to cross a bridge that's a bridge too far, and they're messing with the wrong country. We're not Venezuela, we're not Iraq, we're not Libya, we're not Afghanistan, and we're not Syria. This is the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we will make sure that the United States regrets the aggression against the Iranian people and the slaughter of children and the slaughter of innocent civilians and the murder of the leader. These are crimes against humanity, and the United States and its allies have imposed the law of the jungle upon the world, and they will come to regret it.
And all this could have been avoided, a long time from now. But of course, this country of ours decided not to listen to a voice of reason, but to elect someone who got us in this war. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing a lot of buyer's remorse. A lot of folks who actually voted for the monster in chief is now dissatisfied. Oh, I didn't want him to drag us into a war. What you thought was going to happen? You're lucky he didn't involve us in a war in 2017 or 2018 before the pandemic. If memory serves me correct, we was almost in one if we wasn't in one. And that's just my recollection. Because I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and see. I don't know if we was involved in a direct war during Trump's first presidency. But I wouldn't be surprised if we came close or we was directly involved in one. Might have been a small one. But he decided to go total nuclear this time. And most of his fan base, he still got an old strong support fan base. But those are the delusional ones. I've always said they delusional. Anytime you'll see somebody doing something and you still defend them. And like I said, even his own direct fan base It's saying how they did not want this unjust, unprovoked war. But yet, here we are. And get this. Um, we have 3 whole years of this man. 3 whole years. I just hope this country's still standing next year. And if it is, it's going to be a shell of itself because none of our allied nations really want to be part of us. They don't want to have nothing to do with us. They done severed ties, business ties, and everything else. China they've been stopped doing business with us. They've been they've been buying soybeans from Brazil and Africa. I didn't even know that soybeans is produced in Africa too, as well. But a lot of people don't want to have nothing to do with us. And guess who fault that was? Yeah, you can pretty much guess who fault that was as well. And I believe it need to be a new clause entered into our government that if you start a war, the first group of people you need to see is your immediate family, your sons, your grandsons, granddaughters, etc. If that happens, I can almost guarantee you these governments wouldn't be too quick to enter into these useless wars. And the reason why I say it's useless because what's the point of having several thousands or several hundred dead bodies for? What, democracy? Please. Our nation is still ran by tyranny. We don't have no control a bunch of nothing. So what's the point of fighting for freedom and liberty and the pursuit of happiness when your own government won't let you have that? America incarcerates the largest percentage of inmates in the entire world by 2.1 million. So we the land of opportunity, the land of freedom, but we incarcerate the most inmates. Well, yeah, the most citizens turn inmates. We really don't have no much of a reform program for inmates to enter in after they serve their time. What, halfway house programs? They useless. Cause that's what they're gonna say. Treatment facilities, please. So that's what I'm talking about. It was a song that came out in the 70s that said war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again, It really is. You got people, I understand there's people that fought and died for our country, and I do commend those who did. But I've always said a long time ago, it's almost like, excuse me, it's almost like police officers going to an abuse domestic violence call. The police officer then go to the house of the abused woman to defend her. And guess what she does? Start doing? Fighting a damn cop. Yeah. So that is how our government is. You know, we go and we risk our lives. Daughters that's never coming back home. Sons who's never coming back home. All for a government who really don't care nothing about its servicemen and women. Now, they can say they do all they want. They can say they do all they want, but I don't believe it. This monster in chief, the people elected him. Of course he cheated. There's evidence and there's proof that he cheated. Along with Elon Musk, they falling out on Twitter. Elon Musk pretty much proved it in several of his tweets that had it not been for him, the Republicans would have been 51 to 53. 51 would have been for the Republicans, 53 would have been for the Democrats. The Democrats would have won. Ain't no way in hell Elon was just blowing smoke just saying that. Remember now, this man even claimed that he was going to start his own American party that he never did get up and smoke. He was supposed to get that on the ground. That was supposed to rival against the Monster and Chiefs Republican Party. But anyways, I'm not gonna keep this video too long. I'm just upset about all the news I'm hearing about this whole Iranian war. These people really ain't bothering nobody, but now you done got to the point where you done backed them up in the corner. Now they fighting and going all out. I'm hearing that they even have underground bases that's not even touched. They really haven't even begun to start fighting yet, from what I'm hearing. And this is from one of the Iranian professors that live over there in Iran. He says that a lot of the drone missiles that was being shot out of the sky by U.S. Air Forces, he said it was very old drones.
Time will tell. And our drones that are being fired are very old drones. Our missiles that are being fired are very old missiles. They're very inexpensive. And Americans are using up very expensive air defense systems. The Iranians know exactly what they're doing. We haven't even begun using our latest technology, and most of Iran's underground bases have not even been used yet. They have not even been opened up for operation. The Iranians have been planning for this day ever since the invasion of Iraq. They knew that at some point the Epstein regime will go after Iranians, and therefore they've been preparing themselves for many years. We are fighting for our homeland and our sovereignty and our independence, and our crime is that we oppose the genocide that the British regime and the American regime and Western regimes have been supporting. And we are on the right side of history, and the United States is the aggressor, and we will punish the aggressor and make it regret its crimes against humanity.
He said he meant to do that because they want America to use up all of their expensive resources, and then they're gonna launch an attack. And the crazy part about it is that if you've been planning for somebody for 25 years, oh man, I'm quite sure you're gonna have all the tricks in your bag. You know, and on top of that, Russia's ally to Iran as far as China and North Korea. So you got to realize, in all them years' times, do you know how many people have been supplying them with ammunitions, arms, everything? They probably they probably have state-of-the-art technology that we can only dream of. And we won't know because from what Iranian officials are saying, they haven't even begun fighting. They've been doing asymmetric warfare the whole time. Yeah. Of course, they have been uh, unaliving a lot of our U.S. soldiers, but they haven't really um, actually begun fighting, from what several Iranian officials have been saying. But I think it's a useless, unjust, unprovoked, and unintentional war. But the ones who voted for him, y'all president, said that he's the peace president. He needs a Nobel Prize. That's what he said. If he have any supporters, why don't you just give him his prize? Sometimes I speak so fast and I get myself tongue tied. But if Donald Trump need a peace prize, a Nobel Peace Prize, his supporters need to make one and put it around his neck and just give it to him and say, President, you is awesome. You did an amazing job. Gas is soaring. Groceries are through the roof. A lot of major grocery stores and several mom and pop stores are closing their doors due to inflation and not being able to afford the products to keep the stores running. Rent, of course, is skyrocketing. Everything. And you know what some people say? Well, this has been in place way before Trump got in office. Well, true, but Republicans make things 10 times worse. Every Republican we ever have in office does the same exact thing. And I believe it was a crash right here. So, right here, if my camera can focus, there was a crash. Now, hopefully I'm not in there. Hopefully I don't witness no damn shooting. Damn. Well, I'm not going to hold this video any longer. I'm right here at this damn boat place. Discount boats. I remember I found $3,000 right on the sidewalk here years ago. But that's for another story. I was your host, Priceless. Wrote another video, cycling at night, doing my commentary. One day I'm gonna cycle, going to one of these little fast food eateries, and it's like another vlog. So until next time, everybody, peace and continue to have a good one. Later.